The world watches in awe and fear as wildfires rage across continents, leaving behind a trail of devastation. From the sprawling forests of California to the Australian outback, these infernos paint a grim picture of a planet seemingly aflame. At the same time, geopolitical tensions simmer and erupt, with wars and conflicts casting a long shadow over our world. For many, these events evoke a sense of unease, a feeling that the world is teetering on the brink of something unknown and potentially cataclysmic. In the midst of this global unrest, a question arises. Are these events merely natural disasters and political struggles, or could they be harbingers of a greater cosmic drama, signs pointing to the return of Jesus Christ as prophesied in the Bible? This question has echoed through the annals of Christian history, particularly in times of widespread upheaval and uncertainty. The Bible itself, particularly in the books of Matthew and Ezekiel, speaks of a time marked by wars, natural disasters, and societal unrest as precursors to the second coming of Christ. While interpretations vary, the convergence of these prophetic warnings with the current state of the world has sparked intense debate and soul-searching among believers and skeptics alike. Wildfires, once considered localized events, have transformed into a global phenomenon. They scorch the earth with increasing intensity, fueled by a complex interplay of factors, including climate change, deforestation, and human negligence. These raging infernos consume vast tracts of land, decimate ecosystems, and displace communities, leaving behind a trail of destruction that takes years, if not decades, to heal. The sheer scale and ferocity of these fires have reached unprecedented levels, prompting experts to sound the alarm about the growing threat they pose to our planet and way of life. The year 2023 witnessed some of the most devastating wildfires in recorded history. The Canadian wildfires, for example, blanketed the skies of North America with a thick haze of smoke, impacting air quality and public health across vast distances. These fires, exacerbated by prolonged drought and soaring temperatures, underscore the interconnectedness of our planet and the far-reaching consequences of environmental degradation. As the world grapples with the escalating climate crisis, the specter of more frequent and intense wildfires looms large, threatening not only our natural world but also the very fabric of human civilization. Just as wildfires rage across the physical landscape, so too do wars and conflicts scar the geopolitical terrain. From the ongoing conflict in Ukraine to simmering tensions in the Middle East, the world seems perpetually embroiled in a cycle of violence and unrest. These conflicts not only result in tragic loss of life and displacement of populations, but also sow seeds of division, hatred, and instability that can reverberate for generations. The rise of nationalism, religious extremism, and competition for dwindling resources further exacerbate these tensions, creating a tinderbox environment where even the smallest spark can ignite a conflagration. The proliferation of advanced weaponry, including hypersonic missiles and autonomous drones, adds a new layer of complexity and danger to these conflicts. The potential for these weapons to fall into the wrong hands or be deployed with devastating consequences raises profound ethical and security concerns. As the world witnesses a renewed arms race and a shifting balance of power, the specter of a large-scale conflict, one with the potential to engulf entire regions or even the globe, looms large in the minds of many. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, Jesus' disciples approach him with a question about the end of the age. In response, Jesus delivers a discourse outlining the signs that will precede his return, painting a vivid picture of a world in turmoil. He warns of wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places, describing these events as the beginning of sorrows. These signs, Jesus cautions, are not to be interpreted as the immediate onset of the end, but rather as birth pangs, signaling the approach of a new era. Jesus' words in Matthew 24 provide a framework for understanding the significance of the tumultuous events unfolding in our world. While some may dismiss these events as isolated incidents or cyclical patterns in history, many Christians see them as potential fulfillments of biblical prophecy. The convergence of escalating global conflicts, unprecedented natural disasters, and societal unrest resonates deeply with the signs described by Jesus, prompting a sense of anticipation and urgency among believers. Section 5. Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39. a prophetic war involving Israel. The book of Ezekiel, chapters 38 and 39, contains a particularly intriguing prophecy that has captured the attention of biblical scholars and prophecy enthusiasts for centuries. This prophecy describes a future invasion of Israel by a coalition of nations, led by a figure referred to as Gog, of the land of Magog. The details of this invasion, including the specific nations involved and the timing of the event, have been subject to much debate and interpretation. Some scholars believe that the nations mentioned in Ezekiel's prophecy correspond to modern-day Russia, Iran, and their allies. They point to the increasing military cooperation between these nations and their shared interests in the Middle East as potential indicators of a future conflict aligned with Ezekiel's vision. Others interpret the prophecy more symbolically, viewing it as a representation of the spiritual battle between good and evil that will culminate in the return of Christ. Regardless of the specific interpretation, the prophecy in Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39 serves as a stark reminder of the volatile geopolitical landscape in the Middle East, and the potential for conflict to escalate with global consequences. Section 6. Modern-day prophets, voices in the wilderness. Throughout history, individuals claiming to possess prophetic gifts have emerged, offering interpretations of current events through a spiritual lens and often making predictions about the future. These modern-day prophets, as they are often called, often generate both fascination and skepticism, with their pronouncements subject to intense scrutiny and debate. While some dismiss them as charlatans or delusional individuals, others view them as genuine messengers, providing guidance and warnings for a world in need of direction. One such figure who has gained considerable attention in recent years is Pastor Paul Begley, known for his YouTube channel where he shares his interpretations of biblical prophecy and current events. Begley often points to natural disasters, political upheaval, and celestial phenomena as signs of the approaching end times. Another prominent voice is Perry Stone, who has authored numerous books on prophecy and hosts a popular television program. Stone emphasizes the importance of spiritual preparedness and urges his followers to live in a state of constant readiness for the return of Christ. Section 7. Interpreting the signs, a matter of perspective. The interpretation of potential signs of Jesus' return is a complex and nuanced endeavor, one that requires careful consideration of biblical text, historical context, and current events. Within Christianity, a spectrum of perspectives exists, ranging from those who believe that the end times are imminent to those who view these prophecies as symbolic representations of spiritual truths rather than literal events. Navigating this diversity of viewpoints requires humility, discernment, and a willingness to engage in respectful dialogue. One perspective emphasizes the importance of understanding biblical prophecy within its historical context. Proponents of this view argue that some prophecies, while relevant for their original audience, may not necessarily apply directly to contemporary events. They caution against reading too much into current events or attempting to set specific dates for Jesus' return, a practice that has led to disappointment and disillusionment in the past. Instead, they advocate for a focus on living out the principles of the Christian faith in the present moment, trusting in God's sovereignty and timing. Section 8. The impact on Christian faith, hope, urgency, and watchfulness. The convergence of escalating global crises with prophetic warnings has had a profound impact on the faith and outlook of many Christians. For some, it has ignited a sense of hope and anticipation, a belief that the return of Christ is drawing near and that the brokenness of this world will soon be redeemed. This hope serves as an anchor in the midst of uncertainty, providing comfort and strength in the face of adversity. For others, the current state of the world has instilled a sense of urgency, a call to action to share the gospel message with greater fervor, and to live lives characterized by love, compassion, and service to others. They see the present moment as an opportunity to make a difference in a world desperately in need of light and hope. The awareness of Christ's impending return serves as a catalyst for spiritual growth, prompting believers to examine their own lives and to live in a state of constant readiness for the day when they will be called to account for their actions. Section 9. Conclusion. Living in expectation. As wildfires rage, wars erupt, and the world grapples with unprecedented challenges, the question of Jesus' return remains a topic of intense fascination and debate. While the Bible provides glimpses into the future, the timing and specific details of these events remain shrouded in mystery. Rather than obsessing over dates or attempting to decipher cryptic prophecies, perhaps the most prudent course of action is to heed the words of Jesus himself. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. Matthew 24:42. Living in a state of watchful expectation does not imply a withdrawal from the world, or a passive acceptance of suffering and injustice. On the contrary, it compels Christians to engage even more fully with the present moment, to be agents of peace, reconciliation, and hope in a world desperately in need of transformation. It means living lives characterized by love, compassion, and justice, sharing the good news of the gospel, and striving to make a positive impact on the world around us. In the end, whether the return of Christ is imminent or still far off, the call to faithful living remains the same. Gap 3S, Section 10. The Fire in Israel 2025. A reflection. In the summer of 2025, a devastating wildfire swept through the heart of Israel, leaving a trail of destruction and despair in its wake. The inferno, fueled by an unprecedented heat wave and dry conditions, ravaged thousands of acres of land, displacing communities and claiming lives. The causes of the fire were multifaceted, a combination of natural and human factors that created a perfect storm of catastrophe. Gap 2S. But beyond the immediate impact, the fire in Israel has sparked a deeper reflection on its prophetic significance. For many, the blaze is seen as another signpost pointing to the turbulent times we live in, echoing the warnings and visions found in biblical prophecy. Some interpret the fire as a manifestation of divine judgment, a call to repentance and a reminder of the fragility of human existence. Others view it as a sign of the earth's groaning, a world in travail awaiting its ultimate redemption. Gap 2S. The fire has also prompted a renewed sense of urgency among believers, compelling them to examine their own lives and the state of their faith. It serves as a stark reminder of the unpredictability of life and the importance of being spiritually prepared for whatever lies ahead. In the midst of the ashes, stories of hope and resilience have emerged as communities come together to rebuild and support one another. Gap 2S. As we reflect on the fire in Israel 2025, we are reminded of the words of the prophet Isaiah. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned, the flames will not set you ablaze. Isaiah 43:2. This promise of divine protection and presence offers comfort and strength in times of trial. Gap 2S. The fire in Israel is a poignant reminder that, while we may not fully understand the mysteries of prophecy or the timing of future events, we are called to live with a sense of watchfulness, urgency, and hope. It is a call to engage with the world around us, to be agents of transformation and bearers of the light of Christ in a darkened world. In the end, it is this faithful living that will prepare us for whatever the future holds.